What's going on? Hey, today's show we're gonna go catch some trash fish, some buffalo. Yeah, I had a guy. I don't understand that term, trash fish. I don't get it. Or sport, non-sport fish. Excuse me. Got real cold last night. I had the windows open. Yeah, been down in the 70s in August. Yeah, it felt good, and I got a little froggy and all that from having the windows up and getting so cold last night. Yeah, it was chilly. But hey, anyway, yeah, I had a guy. It was all good fun. It was funny. He's making fun of me because about having time to go fish for trash fish, and I assume he's talking about gar and buffalo. You know what I'm saying. What are categories by law as a non-sport fish? So per law, you got categories of fish: sport and non-sport. We all know the difference. Sport fish, I mean, maybe you don't, but sport fish are your bass, your basses, your temperate bass, your black bass, your catfish, crappie, walleye, all that. And your non-sport are the gar, carp, buffalo, drum, which I don't know I don't know why they separate them like that. Is it their edibility? It's definitely not the sportability of them, because a gar and a drum are just as strong as a walleye or a largemouth bass or whatever. So it can't be the sporting value involved in catching the fish. And I could see the edibility. You know, all those scrap fish are considered a bony fish, and they're hard to fillet out. You can't just fillet them out real quick and prepare them to eat. Okay, it takes some effort. They're bony. You gotta, whatever. You gotta skin them out and gut them and all that. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. It's not whether a fish is indigenous to your waters or not. That's not true, because like where I live, walleye are not indigenous to our waters. But they're considered a sport fish. What else? Stripers, striped bass, they're not indigenous. They're indigenous to the ocean, I believe, right? They came from the ocean. So, yeah. Those were started out as ocean fish, right? So they're not indigenous. So that's not that either. And as far as, I guess they consider them trash or scrap because they're full of bones. Most people, that's why. And as far as all fish taste different, but they're all worth eating. And I don't think with scrap fish it's the flavor. I guess it's the bones. But still, they category as and so I understand why people might nickname them bottom feeders, scrap fish, bony fish, trash fish. So I get that. We don't all have time to. We want to go out. Most people want to go out and catch some fish, bring them home, fillet them real quick, eat them, go to bed. I get that. We don't want to mess around with deboning a fish. It's too much work. So why not go after the ones that are easier to prepare for a meal? But yeah, why do they categorize like sport and non-sport? Because when you really break it down, the what we call non-sport fish, and I know everybody's going to argue this, but I don't see how you can. Non-sport fish, and if you disagree, that's fine. They're harder to catch in numbers. Yeah. I mean, you truly think about it, and truly don't think of what society has told you and that you grew up with, and that guys talking fish talk about. Exit all that from your mind. What society has told you. When you think about going out catching a crappie, walleye, you know exactly what your tactic, strategy, and what you're going to do that time of year is going to be. What if I told you, let's go catch some buffalo, and it's October 3rd? What would you do? How would you go put 20 or 30 buffalo in your live well? You couldn't even do it. 99.9% of people do not know how to go catch 5 or more buffalo, carp, or drum on purpose in one day if they wanted to, for whatever reason. Just to prove a point, or to actually eat them, or take them home and put them in a fish tank, whatever. Couldn't do it, right? Am I right? So that's not the reason. I mean, honestly, what about gar? What's easier, to go catch 30 gar or 30 crappie? Crappie are considered sport fish and not a trash fish. So are they more sporting? It's a lot easier to go catch 30 crappie on in a man-made lake over the top of a man-made brush pile that's marked on your preloaded on your software of your depth finder that you bought, and those man-made brush piles are already marked on that software in the fish finder that you just bought. Pretty easy to go find that and catch the crappie that are on that brush pile, right? 20, 30 of them. You can do it every other trip, depending on your skill level, your knowledge, right? A lot of you can. But can you honestly, don't sit here and say, oh yeah, a carp, you just throw some worm to corn out on the bank and just catch them. Well, crappie, I just go drop a jig over a brush pile and catch them. Walleye, just go drag a worm around on the bottom of a mud flat and catch them. They're all easy. To me, fishing's easy. Because, you know, and if you feel that way too, it's because you've been doing it for a long time. And you have that knowledge. But even the best fishermen I know, the most experienced, you guys, you right there, can you go catch 30 gar tomorrow? Know right where to go and how to do it. Or buffalo. If it's sport and non-sport, and it's the sportability factor, and sport is a competition. Sport's a competition. It's you're one-on-one with a competitor to see who can get who can beat who. Can you go, if it's sportability, can you go tomorrow morning and put 20 or 30 buffalo in your boat? On just a fishing alone factor, not to gather, not to put a meal on the table, not to provide for your family, not to save money by not going to the grocery store, but just for fun and sport. I know everybody's out hunting and chopping firewood and catching fish to provide for a meal for their family. I know, I get it. I hear you. But what's truly more sporting? Honestly, ask yourself. If it's the sporting factor, which is tougher to catch? It's buffalo, you know that. It is. Gar, yeah, it is. Carp, can you go put 30 carp in the boat today? Now I know where I live, you know, the walleye aren't real thick. We got them here, and people fish for them every day, and you can get them. But they're not indigenous to our waters, and they have with our big reservoirs, they get sucked down the outlets and on back out down to the ocean eventually, and we have to have regular full bore stocking programs to keep around. So it's hard for locally where I'm at to go out and catch 20 and 30 walleye. So that's not a good example, but you can go out and catch 20 and 30 buffalo if you know how to do it. But 99.9% of people who call them fishermen and think that they're good fishermen, or that, I mean, they are good fishermen, and you are, but you can't go out and catch buffalo. So it's not the sporting factor, right? So why are them categories there like that? I know, you know, a lot of the sport fish are fish that are stocked. It's a money thing. Like always breaks down to money that the government controls and sets the rules for. And you know, you got stocking programs to keep. Most people like going after what is considered sport fish for whatever reason, for eating and for catching, and a lot of those fish are on a stocking program. So they have length limits and creel limits that you got to abide by in order to be cost effective for everybody, I guess. So yeah, whatever. That's my little spiel. Thanks for listening. But yeah, we're gonna go out and catch some more trash fish, as people like to call them. I just like fishing. and pretty challenging for trash fish. The trash fish that I like to catch for sport. Go get them. 20, 30 of them a day. It's pretty rare. Ready? Let's go. Appreciate it. We'll see you at the next spot. Later. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Whew. There he goes. What is it? Buffalo! He come right at me. Get up here. Yeah, get up here. Boom! That is a beautiful fish. Look how dark he is. It is beautiful. Look at the colors on that. Do you guys see that? Yeah. Awesome. Another shad. That's our bait fish around here. That's our food, our fish's main source of food right there. Another one. Crazy. There must be a bazillion of them up here right now. They're kind of like some places have, some parts of the country have golden eyes and chubs and trout and what else? Skipjack. This is our main source of food for all the fish. All the predator fish eat these. Shad. And they are slimy. Slimy, slimy. And stinky. Oily. Big old shad. I know some of you guys are wondering, snagging the fish and everything. The act of snagging a fish is not illegal. Keeping the fish after you snag it, that's where you run into trouble. That is illegal. The definition of snagging is hooking a fish anywhere in the body except for the inside of the mouth is a snag. So yeah, if you hook a fish anywhere except for the inside of the mouth, you got to return it to the water immediately. Immediately. And you know, it sucks for me because I can't help it sometimes. I mean, it's like a lot of times the fish just give up. You know, they're like, John's here, and they just instead of going through the fuss and hassle, they just jump right on my hook. Sometimes they just jump right in my hands and in my bucket. It becomes a hassle sometimes and frustrating. I don't understand it, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, snag a fish, you gotta let it go. It doesn't matter, sport, non-sport. If it's a non-sport that you're fishing for sport, doesn't matter. You gotta let it go. Okay. Yeah, if you hook it on the outside of the lip, you gotta let it go. Can only keep it if you hook it on the inside of the mouth. So that's it. That's all there is to it. But the act of actually snagging a fish and reeling it in, it's not illegal. It happens, especially if you fish a lot. Okay, that's it. All right, back to the show. What? Jeez. Oh, man. See that? Milk running out of them. Sperm. Can you say that on YouTube? I done lost my mind now. Buffalo bonkers, baby. Here we go. Jeez. It's coming at us. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh. Man, when they get you back against the current, like a ton of bricks. You really? Come on! Feels like a log. don't know. Ugh. I'm done. I'm tired. I ain't ate nothing, but I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast. I'm out. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be back here tomorrow, I hope. It's supposed to be a swamp and rain. Might make it even better.